Hey everybody, Happy New Year! Happy 2020. I'm so excited about this new decade. I don't know about you. I hope you're excited too. 2019 was full of so much like self-reflection and realizations. For me personally, discovering all about narcissistic abuse, and so 2020 I'm focusing on forging ahead. My topic today is awesome. It's a good one. It's about it's mostly about covert narcissists. I was going to make it like a compare and contrast covert narcissism versus overt narcissism, but the truth is that I feel like 95% of us are dealing with covert narcissism. Like, overt narcissists are the people in the room that are like so big, they're so obnoxious. It's like they have a stamp on their forehead that says, "Stay away from me, I'm a jerk, and I'm only going to make you miserable." But the covert narcissists are, I feel like, the worst ones because they lure us in. The primary difference is that they just present differently. At the core, they're the same person. They have the same malicious motivations. Everything's about themselves, whether they're covert or overt. But covert narcissists present better. And that's what sucks us in and gets us involved with these people, is that we think that they're normal and they're not. So I'm speaking about covert narcissism today and why it's so destructive to us, because they're just so hurtful and malicious. All right, here we go. Covert behaviors are more subtle and less obvious to others. That's what differentiates a covert narcissist from an overt narcissist. In the field of psychology, behavior is either described as being covert or overt. So we're dealing with it's like you've heard introverted versus extroverted. It's like the same thing. So we're speaking about the more subtle narcissists, I guess. Narcissism, they both have the same characteristics at their core. So they find it difficult to maintain connections with others because of their manipulative tendencies. And the biggest thing is their lack of empathy. They often feel entitled and they lack compassion, but they will always crave attention and adoration. I was going to say, where are they? There's certain characteristics that define narcissists that are just across the board. Overt narcissists tend to be loud and arrogant and insensitive to the needs of others. Like I said, it's like they have a stamp on their forehead. We're like, okay, I'm staying away from you because you're clearly a jerk. But it's the covert ones that get us. So their behavior is easily observed by others. The covert ones. The traits of overt and covert narcissists are the same. They navigate the world with a sense of self-importance, entitlement, and they fantasize about their personal success and grandeur. It's the same diagnosis like in the DSM-5. They have to meet the same diagnostic criteria to be diagnosed as a narcissist. I think they have to hit 5 of the parameters. But they both have deficits in their capacity to regulate their self-esteem. They have a lot of people, it actually said this when I was reading. It said most people fall victim to covert narcissists because they're so manipulative, and like I said, they suck you in, and we, the victims, don't realize it's happening because it's so subtle and manipulative. We don't realize it until we're already being hurt. We're like suffering emotional pain. So most people find themselves in long-term relationships with covert narcs, like I did. I was engaged to one, you guys. I almost married this creep, but thankfully he discarded me and spared me from that agony, and he moved on to the next. When we're involved in relationships with these covert narcs, we get hurt because we find a lack of partnership and reciprocity in a relationship, which is exactly what happened to me. I started dating this creep when I was like 20. I literally just turned 21. He came out for my birthday. And then, it was like such a volatile, torturous relationship. I thought I was in a relationship with this creep, but he had nothing emotionally invested in me. And it went on for like 5 years, you guys. Every other week was like a makeup, a breakup, a makeup, a breakup, and he just had no respect for me. All he wanted to do was use me to bolster his self-image. Like, this is what I love about narcissists. It's like, people don't care that much about you, like they're so hung up on what the outside world, views them as. Like, you're not a celebrity. Like, my narc mother, like my narc ex, like, all they care about is like what people think of them, how they're perceived. Like, get over yourself. It's easier to say because we're not narcs, but they're just so obsessed with themselves. So that's what I'm saying there. Oh shoot, I lost my list. I was so excited to read this. That's all right. Oh, okay. So the similarities with covert versus overt narcissists is that they possess the same core characteristics, where they are preoccupied with beauty, love, power, and or success. They have an exaggerated sense of being unique. They're special. In spite of all the other fabulous people around them, including us, mostly us, they're special. So they have an exaggerated sense of being unique. They believe that the world owes them something. This ties into my external locus of control, if you haven't watched that video. Everything is everyone else's fault and they can do no wrong. So the world owes them something. That's for sure my narc mother's perception. And they will exploit others to get what they want, no matter what kind of impact it has on other people. They're like heartless, soulless creeps. And the biggest thing is that they lack empathy. It's just so cruel and hurtful. I think that's like what enables them to be so wicked, is the fact that they don't have any empathy for people. Let's see, where was I going? Okay. Something I read that I love, that I definitely wanted to get in here, is that being aware of these traits helps to empower anyone that is dealing with this type of person. And that has absolutely been my case. I feel like knowledge is power. The more we learn, the more we see them for what they are, and we can spot their game from a mile away. And that's everything, man. For me, it has made all the difference in dealing with my narc mother. My narc ex, we broke up in like '05, which was eons ago. But, well, he dumped me rather. And there was like narcissistic abuse was not even a blip on the radar. There was no information about it. So I did what everybody else did. I went to Barnes and Noble and immersed myself in the self-help section, and I found tons of books about controlling people and emotionally abusive relationships and stuff like that. That's how I got myself through it. And, now I look back at these books, because I still have them, and everything I highlighted and I read is applicable to narcissistic personality disorder. It had everything there but the name. So it's very empowering when you educate yourself and you learn about their tactics. So covert narcissists, they have passive self-importance. Like, they definitely crave importance and they thirst for admiration, but they elicit it differently from everyone around them. They achieve this by putting everyone else around them down because, like we've already established, they have such terrible self-perceptions, like at the core of everything. They feel totally inept and they have no self-confidence. So they put other people down around them, but they do this in a very manipulative, very covert way. They'll do it by giving backhanded compliments. Like, oh, your hair looks great. Like, it's so much better than what you had it. Like, my hair's curly right now because my husband likes my crazy curly hair. So my narc mom might say something like, oh, your hair looks nice curly. I didn't like it straight. Or, just like basically it's not a real, like genuine, authentic compliment. It's like, oh, you looked like crap before. You don't look as bad now, but you look better. That kind of thing. They will purposely minimize other people's accomplishments. That they have done this to me as well. I have my master's degree. You can see it over there on the shelf. I have my master's degree in psychology, and the way that my toxic, wicked parents, my narcissistic mother, the way she handled that was she never even like acknowledged it. Like, you guys, I went through a lot to get my degree, and I was diagnosed with MS back then. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody acknowledges that I was working full time to support myself because, they would not support me. And I was getting my degree. I mean, that's big stuff. They just won't acknowledge it. They won't acknowledge you. They won't acknowledge your achievements. And the other thing is that they act so feeble and they're so, again, covert, that they try to like always act like the victim or like, oh, I'm not good enough. They'll do something to try to elicit compliments from other people to bolster themselves, to bolster how great they are. They'll use manipulative tactics to elicit this from other people. And the reality for both overt and covert narcissists is that they have a fragile sense of self. The overt narcissist will demand admiration and attention, where the covert narc, like I said, they use like manipulative, like underhanded tactics to meet the same goals. The extroverted narcissist will be more obvious in their attempts to gain leverage, like explicitly putting you down, like obviously, or be rude or criticizing you. The introverted covert narc my narc mother loves this, you guys, it makes me crazy. She will always pretend to be the victim. So by default, we are villainized because they're the victims of us, right? So they put themselves in a position to receive, they flip it. Like, if you're accusing them of something that they definitely did, they'll come back at you and somehow flip it or spin it to put you on the defensive, where you're defending yourself, explaining yourself, and reassuring them at the same time. So they will put themselves in a position to receive reassurance and praise from you. At the end of your interaction with this person, their goal is to make you feel small. This makes me crazy too. All of this stuff gets me, you guys. So one of the biggest strategies of a covert narc is to create confusion, which they undoubtedly do. They create confusion, which makes you second guess yourself. Their goal is to make us question ourselves. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I hope I can seamlessly put this together. My dog went ballistic. The UPS guy dropped something off. But what I was saying is that covert narcissists, they will manipulate us in a very subtle way, and they love to create confusion because that way they're able to get us to question ourselves and thus putting themselves into the victim role, which they love. My narc ex did this too. He was insinuating that I was crazy and stuff because I was expecting him to be a legitimate partner in a relationship that I was invested in. He was out cheating on me and stuff, but I was crazy because I actually wanted him to spend time with me. So he was a victim of me as well. As my narcissistic mother, I'm always so mean to her, and it's beyond. So they always try to, Gino, stop! They always try to manipulate things to put themselves as the victim, thus putting you as the villain. They create confusion. Ultimately, narcissists are inept at building and nurturing legitimate emotional bonds with people. They are not able to do this. They're not emotionally accessible or responsive either. They're always focused on staying elevated to maintain their sense of self-importance. They appear emotionally accessible, and that's how they're able to hurt us the way that they do. It's all about, it's their performance, it's the persona that they put out, and it's with the intent to exploit and leave the person feeling small. And they do this also, by the way, they make you feel small by just being dismissive of you and not respecting you. They might make a date to meet you somewhere and just not show up. That's a blatant disregard for your time. There's so many ways that they use manipulative tactics to cut us down, and that is their ultimate goal, because misery loves company, and that's what they always do. So in my opinion, I feel like covert narcissists are the most damaging and destructive and hurtful because we don't see them coming, and they use all sorts of manipulative tactics to hurt us and to victimize themselves in the process. So they're always trying to elevate themselves and push us down simultaneously. Hope I gave you guys some good information here. Knowledge is power. We are bumped and we're bruised. More than anything, we are blessed because we're coming out of this oppression and being treated poorly because we do not deserve it. I was going to say that too. I think I said it already, but narcissistic people particularly target compassionate, kind people because they know that we have so much to offer and we're more receptive to their bullshit. That's why I say it all the time. Like, this community of victims, some of the best people out there. Like, you're so kind and compassionate and caring. And because of the crap that we've been through, it's even more so. We have an appreciation and just a genuine core character that is only amplified because of this abuse. All right, I'm done, I promise. So we're bummed and we're bruised, but more than anything, we're blessed. Please like, subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. Give me thumbs up. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon.